In the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, a country named Cabo Verde has fewer than 600,000 people. A nation doesn't have a footballing legacy, doesn't have World Cup history, and no reason to compete with the 2022 champions in the game. They watched the biggest stage from afar until on the 3rd of July 2026, the day they did something extraordinary that no one believed that they could do. The rest of the world thought that was another team that would lose without competition. But football is a beautiful game that always creates a story that no one sees coming. That is what Cabo Verde did in the game. They didn't only shake the entire Argentina team, but also them. Later on in the video, I will tell you why I said that. Most people remember this as a beautiful defeat, an underdog who lost with pride. That is the comfortable version, the version that lets you feel good about a result that ends in a loss. But that version buries something underneath it. Because for one specific stretch of time, in extra time, at the biggest stadium in the tournament, this was not a story about a plucky nation making up the numbers. But the number is not the story. The number is what happens when the world notices someone for one night and then moves on. This is not that story. This is what actually happened in the goal frame nobody was watching, in the 8 minutes that almost rewrote everything. For 8 minutes, the World Cup's greatest story belonged to a country of 60,000 people. And the man standing in front of their goal was the reason it lasted as long as it did. Nobody talks about him that way. They talk about the wonder goal. They talk about Messi. They rarely talk about the man who made both of those things matter. Before any of that, there was an earlier night against Spain when nobody outside his own country knew his name. Josimar Jose Evera Diaz, universally known as Vozinha. 7 saves, a clean sheet against European champions. By morning, his phone would not stop buzzing. 50,000 followers became 6 million before he had even finished processing what had happened. Because the Vozinha story isn't as simple as we know. Vozinha grew up in the coastal city of Mindelo on the island. He didn't lead a normal life like others. Vozinha never lived with his parents during his childhood. When he was born, his father was away serving mandatory military duty, and his mother had to work long. As a result, he was entirely raised by his grandparents. Because of his family situation, Vozinha spent most of his childhood playing football. Vozinha hated to lose.
Get up, kid!
That's why when he played against much older, taller, and physically stronger opponents than him, he usually got beaten by them, despite being recognized as one of the most naturally talented young shot stoppers on his island. After that, he has a long story to tell. But let's go back to the day when he met one of the greatest teams of our generation, Argentina, the defending champions. The team was super scary, and with Messi, it was unstoppable. And the man everyone had already decided would end this fairy tale in the first half hour. And under 29 minutes, he scored. Leo finally took the lead. After the goal, everyone lost hope. But after they conceded, Cabo Verde started to attack and attack. But something was missing. The half ended 1-0 Argentina. But after the break, something was shifting from Cabo Verde. Just 4 minutes in, they won a corner, but nothing happened. But in the 59th minute, they finally got a big bite of the champions. The ball found Doi Duarte, who was quick to sort his feet out and strike the ball beyond Emi Martinez's reach. The piranhas of the island finally got a big bite. But here, the story doesn't end. In the 63rd minute, the ball found Lionel Messi with more space than any goalkeeper wants to give him. A golden chance. The kind he scores from without thinking. He didn't. 8 minutes later, Messi tried something almost nobody else in football would dare. A quick free kick taken before the wall was set, designed specifically to catch a goalkeeper unprepared. Vozinha was already moving before the ball was. 2 times in 11 minutes, the greatest player of his generation looked for the one gap that would end this. Vozinha, a goalkeeper from an island nobody could locate on a map, defended it. Nobody remembers those 2 saves. They remember the score. Here is the part of the story almost nobody tells correctly. After 90 minutes, it was 1-1. After the early minutes of extra time, Argentina had pulled ahead. Cabo Verde broke. A corner which Messi took. Lisandro Martinez flicked. A strike into the roof of the net. 2-1. It looks like the story ends here, as everyone expected it to be told was already over. Except it wasn't. In the 103rd minute, on the opposite end of the pitch from where Vozinha stood, Cabral on the left wing skipped past Argentinian defenders and curled a shot into the top corner with a precision that shouldn't exist under that kind of pressure. An unbelievable goal from Cabral, which deserves a hug from loved ones. The whole Cabo Verde team went crazy. It was like they won the World Cup. 2-2. For 8 minutes, from the 103rd minute to the 111th, the impossible was real. A nation of 600,000 people was tied with the champions of the world in extra time, in a World Cup knockout match, in their first tournament appearance in history. 8 minutes where anything could still happen, where penalties are the most possible way to finish the match, and everything penalties can do to a match like this was one whistle away. 8 minutes is not very long, but it is long enough to become the version of history that never quite gets to exist. In the 111th minute, a corner came in. Messi took it. It was like a magician showing his last magic trick. Then, a header by Romero deflected into the net. A deflection nobody could have predicted or defended against. The ball found the net. Cabo Verde's greatest goalkeeper couldn't save this time. 3-2. And just like that, the 8 minutes were gone. Vozinha picked the ball out of his own net for the 3rd time that night, the same way he had 100 times before, in a career nobody outside his country had ever paid attention to. He did not fall to his knees. He did not need to. He had already done more than anyone expected of him, twice denying the best player alive, standing in the exact spot where history briefly changed its mind before changing it back. After the final whistle, Messi found him, told him plainly and with real sincerity that his country should be proud of him. It was a kind thing to say, but kindness is often what people offer the moment right before they forget you. If Cabo Verde had held those 8 minutes instead of losing them, the road ahead was already written. Egypt next, in an all-African collision nobody has ever seen at this stage of a World Cup. Then Switzerland, waiting patiently in the quarterfinal bracket. And somewhere past that, if fate had truly bent all the way, a semi-final against a European giant, the kind of match a nation like this was never supposed to reach. None of that happened. It never will. But for 8 minutes, it was still possible. And that is the part of this story that deserves to be remembered. More than the scoreline, more than the highlight reel, more than the follower count. Comment below. Do you think that door ever really opens for a team like this again? Or was this the only 8 minutes they were ever going to get? Subscribe, because some stories aren't about who won. They're about how close the other version came to being true.